So if you are a fan of oud and rose fragrances, which I know is a combination that's been done for many, many years now, I think I have something quite interesting here, especially if you look at it from the lens of it being not an inexpensive, but a more inexpensive alternative of a really expensive fragrance out there. This one is called Oud Sapphire, part of the Voyage collection by Blend Oud. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's video on Oud Sapphire by Blend Oud, and I give you my thoughts on the fragrance, the smell, the comparison that I alluded to before, and all of that good stuff, I want to start things off by saying that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit that bell icon so you could be notified whenever I do upload future videos to the channel. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It would really mean a lot to me. If you are interested in purchasing or sampling this fragrance, you may do so at Max Aroma. That's where I got my bottle. Really friendly customer service, really fast shipping, and the owners of Max Aroma are personal friends of mine, really great people. So this fragrance is actually about 4 years old if you're watching this video during the time of publishing. It came out in 2018. This brand has tons of fragrances, and you look at the note breakdown, I think there was Turkish rose, Bulgarian rose, there was also vanilla, violet, some resins in here, benzoin if I'm not mistaken. So it's a typical sort of oud rose fragrance with a twist. And when I made the connection to what fragrance it reminded me of, I think for a lot of people, they would much rather invest their money into this one because you'd be saving a sizable amount of money. In any case, I'm excited to tell you what that fragrance is, but let's go ahead and start things off with the presentation. So right in the opening of this fragrance, you are definitely going to get the rose. And there are two different types of rose in here. And I get this really nice blend of this organic rose that kind of flirts on the border of being kind of airy and atmospheric, but also being a little bit jammy, right? And having that personality about it. So it's a very distinguished rose that you're gonna get in here. And it's not ultra diaphanous, right? It has personality, it has some weight to it. And I feel like the violet contributes to that too. The violet sort of anchors it and tones it down because it could really overtake the composition, right? At many times, it's almost like it's vying for the spotlight. It's trying to be the star of the show. And you also get the resins in the base, right? So you have this benzoin-like personality. It's ambery, it's warm. You have that balsamic richness, and it adds a certain texture to it. Speaking of texture, this kind of reminds me, actually, I'm not gonna lie, it reminds me a lot of Oud Satin Mood by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. So, you know, MFK has the original Oud, Oud Silk Mood, Oud Satin Mood. This reminds me of the satin variety. And if you look up the note breakdown, it's the same exact note breakdown. And yeah, it was done intentionally. This fragrance is very close to, while not exactly the same as Oud Satin Mood. The only difference being is that if my recollection is correct, Oud Satin Mood is going to be far more expensive than this fragrance. So for a lot of people, I see them wishing to buy this instead of Oud Satin Mood just for that price difference alone. But in terms of the quality comparison, it's right there. It's pretty much tantamount. You are going to get a really high quality oud blend. You see what I did there? Blend Oud. Very high quality. The rose smells rich and organic. The violet has an interesting personality. There's a little bit of a spicy component as well, although it's kind of hard to determine where that spice is coming from at times. And of course, with a name like Oud Sapphire, that kind of explains the color of the bottle. Although I don't know if I would have named it Sapphire per se, because looking at the bottle, you think it's going to be a bright, fresh, summery fragrance, but it's actually more suitable for the colder weather. Just because there's a lot of oud, there's a lot of rose, and a lot of these ingredients are definitely evocative of some of the colder months of the year. But in any case, I think it smells awesome. It has a certain creaminess, it has a certain warmth. The rose smells rich and natural, and the agarwood that's in here also smells natural. So with agarwood, there is a certain quality about it that kind of borders on animalic. And when that is found in an oud fragrance, people are usually quick to point out that it's of a natural variety. A lot of other oud fragrances like Versace Porom Oud Noir, I think it's called, that one kind of smells like Tom Ford's Oud Wood, which is more of like a clean oud, like a beginner's oud. This has an oud ingredient that is a little bit on the connoisseur oud side of things, but great fragrance, very similar to Oud Satin Mood by MFK. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, it is very similar to Oud Satin Mood. And so with that being said, I don't think it's the most unique fragrance on the market, but there is kind of this conundrum where if you create an oud rose fragrance, because there are so many on the market, everything from The Night by Frederic Malle to Acaster by Parfum de Marly, there's just so many oud rose fragrances on the market. So it's kind of hard to be original with it, but I really like this fragrance. Overall smell, I think it's going to be a little bit on the daring side of things, especially if it's smelled by somebody who doesn't have a tremendous amount of experience dealing with niche fragrances. I don't think it's going to be as easygoing, but if you are a little bit more experienced and you know your toes are beyond wet, then I think you'll really enjoy this one. Longevity, 10 plus hours, no slouch. Projection, huge, way beyond an arm's length for like 2 hours. Didn't even start to sit closer to the skin, as in an elbow's length, until about like hour 5 or 6. So projection is excellent on this one, will definitely get you noticed. Versatility on this one is a little restricted. I would say colder weather must. Definitely formal. If you can afford it, you can wear it casually as well, but definitely formal. Perfectly unisex, and I think this will, like I said before, cater to somebody who's a little bit more experienced with niche fragrances, and possibly somebody who's a little bit older as well, like 35 and up possibly. In terms of the presentation, really nice presentation. I love the graphic here with the cultural influence on the box and the sleeve, and the bottle itself too with the little insignia engraved into the cap here. My final verdict is, hey, if you're a fan of Oud Satin Mood and you want to experience something that's slightly different, check out Oud Sapphire by Blend Oud, part of the Voyage collection. You might find it really interesting. I know Max Aroma gives you the opportunity to sample fragrances, so this way you don't gotta buy it, you don't gotta dish out the money that they're asking for full retail. You can get a sample first, and then if you like it, you can commit to a full bottle. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I do upload these videos, and give it a thumbs up once more if you took something of value from this video. It would really mean a lot to me. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.